I'm retired. I can't collect.
Put some tape on it or something.
Duct tape.
Got any red tape?
Duct tape.
Okay, I got 6 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order. Say pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Supervisor Chase.
Here.
Councilman Library.
Here.
Councilman DeBrey.
Here.
Councilman Leclerc.
Here.
Councilman Barron.
Yep. Okay, welcome everybody to our June 27th regular town board meeting for the month of June. Just to let everybody know, we do record with a camera now. So, one of the things that has been pointed out to me is not picking up everybody that's speaking. So, and anybody that does speak and address the board, you should identify yourself prior to anything, okay? And councilmen and stuff, you guys gotta speak up a little bit louder, just so the camera can pick you up. All right? Everybody silence your phones? I did already. Okay. All right. We got to approve 2 minutes. We forgot the June 6th one on the agenda. What do we got? All right, we got a motion to approve the minutes for May 23rd, 2018, and I believe it was June 6th.
June 6th. I'll make that motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, we got 3 different people to address the board tonight. Is Casey Dickinson here?
Yes.
Oh, there you are, yeah. Okay, he's up. He's from PCA Architects and Engineers. They're out of the Watertown area, I believe.
Yep.
Okay, Casey.
You want me to stand here? Is there anywhere you want me to hit the podium?
You can use the podium if you want.
Sure.
He's here to talk about salt storage shed and maybe provide some information on water oil separator.
Thanks, Bill. So I know this is my first time up here at a board meeting, so if you don't mind, I'll take a second and just talk about our firm. Like Bill said, we're out of the Watertown area primarily. That's our home office. We do have offices in Saratoga and Ithaca. We've been in business just about 50 years now. We have just under 100 people working under us. Civil, structural, MEP, architects, land surveyors, construction managers. That's a lot to say. Basically, it's water, wastewater, healthcare, and school facilities, municipal facilities, things like that. So, Casey Dickinson, I've been with the firm for 7 years. Just a hair over 7 years, so it's been fun. So Liz Hedford is currently working with the town, and we have a relationship with Liz. We've seen her at all the conferences that municipal staff go to, so we over the years have developed a relationship. She asked us to help size a building and prepare basically a budget for this project. So the CFA process opened up probably a month or so ago. That's a whole bunch of different funding applications that's all rolled into one streamlined process. And the one the town is considering is for a salt storage project. So Liz has done some water sampling. She's done a handful of these. She fills the applications out. Like I say, we kind of help her along with sizing the building and then the financial part of that. So I have reached out both to Mark and Bill, and we've talked about how much volume, because that's what it's really all about. How big of a building do you need to hold what the town uses in a given year or a year and a half to be safe sometimes. So I ran the numbers, and I won't get into the weeds on it too much, but for 7,500 cubic yards of material a year, you're looking at an 80 by 150 foot building. okay? It's a pretty large building. The price tag on that is somewhere in the $1 million to $1.1 million range, which I think is, I can see Bill's eyes kind of pop open there. It's definitely a pretty pricey project. So the way the grant works is it's a max of $500,000 up to 50%. So you'd be right at that threshold where you'd be taking full advantage of the grant amount. But then that means basically everything else is up to the town, the taxpayers basically. So you have $500,000, again, give or take, that would have to be financed or come out of some budget fund, municipal fund, or there is an option for the highway department to do a portion of the work. So using past projects with towns, like the town of Champlain we just did last year and a handful of other ones, I came up with a town might be able to do $100,000 worth of work. A little disclaimer, each town's different, they have different people who have different experience through their life, different equipment, everything like that. So that might not be a real number, but it's a placeholder. And then on top of that, there's a mandatory match of 25% for the town. So I had $166,000 that the town would have to come up with in addition to the town labor on this project. And then, so that leaves about $350 left over. That can be an outside grant. It could be if a senator had some money to throw around, it could be something like that. And that's really the only other source of funds that I'm aware of for a project like this. So when we were going into this, that was one of the questions. We knew roughly how much the town needed for space on a given year in that ideal world. Okay, but realistically, there's a budget in every town's, their operating budget means a lot. So I'm not sure if $1 million with roughly $500,000 potentially coming out of the taxpayer's pocket, if that's feasible for the town. That's still a question. So because of that, I ran just an arbitrary, another scenario basically, a 4,000 cubic yard building. Okay, so basically half, if you will. And that came up, it was a 72 by 100 foot building. It was $700,000. And really probably the only thing that matters is what's coming out of the town's pocket is about $350,000. So it's a little bit less, not a whole lot, but just to give you a frame of reference, that's kind of, in an ideal world, to cover your entire pile for a year, you're looking at $1 million with half of that out of the town's pocket, or a quarter if you can get an outside source of grant money. And then for the smaller building, and again, I don't know if 4,000 cubic yards is a number that the town could work with. If it could, if that's less volume than what the town uses in a given winter, they may have to just accept that you'll order, some extra sand and salt 3/4 of the way through in, February or something. And I'm not sure how feasible that is for the town.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, honestly, I would rather, if there's money available to pay for a building, house a year or a year and a half's worth of material, that's the way to do it, to be safe.
What's the structural design of the building?
So the building that I'm working with it's a precast foundation wall, so it's something that comes on the back of a truck and can be set by the highway department. That's really the main reason why. And then the rest of it can be a pole barn style, so a wood frame, something like what a farm would have with metal siding and roof. Or a less expensive option is you've probably seen them in the fabric covered style. It seems like there's a lot of hesitation with those. One thing is they have a 20-year warranty on the roof, so people relate that to a 20-year lifespan on the roof, and that they have to replace the roof every 20 years. It kind of depends on, do you have wind-borne debris? If there's some windstorm that comes up, then yeah, you'll have to do some maintenance on the roof. Or the steel is good for, for a long time, I guess. Put it simply. So there.
Not disputing the numbers, but I find it hard to believe that just basically a cover shack is over $1 million to house that sand pot.
Yeah, so that's a common question too. They're basically, the foundation is basically a big retaining wall, right? So they're pretty meaty walls, there's a lot of reinforcement. It's a lot of concrete. You know, it's not just a building with vertical loads. You have a large pile of sand, you know, basically trying to do this to those walls, right?
Yep.
So there's a lot of structure to it, and that structure costs some money.
So you're familiar with the town shed gate covered building?
No.
They have a large building, I don't know the dimensions of it, but it has the formed 5, 6, 7 foot sidewalls. And it has the coverall canvas top.
Yep.
And I know some actually go to 30 years, so.
Yep.
um,
Yeah, I mean, I've designed those ones myself primarily. Champlain is the most recent one, that was just completed last year. And we have one that I was involved with. Again, I haven't been with the company for a long number of years, but when I first started, Redfield was one, and they get all kinds of snow. They haven't had any issues with their fabric, so.
Cost on the Champlain building, you remember?
$864,000 and some change. And so the DEC grant, the reason I remember that is the DEC grant, they make you keep track of pennies pretty much, so that was
The size of that building, Champlain,
72 by 200.
that wouldn't even cover what he's got left outside here.
What's that, I'm sorry?
I don't think that would cover your pile outside here, you know? Maybe close.
You'd have to take it off and see exactly how it would cover. Because you don't want a building you're gonna be cranking, and the next thing you'll order, stands on the side of the foundation.
Yeah.
You want room for movement.
We're talking 72 by 100 or 72 by 200? What do you want? I can mark it off either way.
Yeah. So I think, Mark, based on the numbers you gave me, I think you said 500 loads, 18 tons of load, and then some salt. I did that math and converted that into cubic yardage, so basically the volume that the building has to hold. That's how I came up with 100 cubic yards. That building, that's what I'm calling your ideal building, is 80 foot wide by 150 foot long. So using just a map that we can get off the internet, basically, that looks like it'll fit right to the side of the missile silo, I think is what it is, right? Right to the side of that, and then almost line up with this driveway on the side.
Yeah, that
It looks like it would fit, maybe a little grading on the back corner to some degree, but that's where I am right now, I guess. So,
Who performs the work?
this would be a combination of the highway department if they're comfortable, and then only what they're comfortable doing. So if they have electricians on staff and want to do that, then they can handle that part. And if not, it's just contracted out like any other, yep. And that's where you start to pay a little more. So a lot of municipalities look at it as their town highway crews already on salary, already on the payroll. So they kind of take that, whether they're here or paving roads, they're working on the town projects. When you start having a third-party contractor come in, you have prevailing wage rates, 60, 70 bucks an hour.
And we got a warranty too with that building.
Yeah,
I don't have that manpower on site.
yeah,
So sometimes that building, I can go after the contractor.
right.
Pretty hard to go after our own man.
Yeah, and I understand that. Yeah, so that's always a decision to be made too, is how much liability do you want to incur on the highway department doing any work? If it's something that they're not comfortable doing and they do it and somebody gets hurt, that's a big issue, I would say. So I guess, that's the salt storage project as far as I'm involved. Liz is doing a lot of the other work. I don't know how familiar everyone is with Liz or not, so if there's any questions now or after the board meeting, she could be the point of contact, or I could be Billy, who has my information, so.
Right.
So the next thing, and this is an interesting one, to me anyway, is the oil water separator for the highway, the highway garage, basically, part of this building. And I have I think, a limited knowledge of how it works here, just a little disclaimer. So it sounds like all of the bays in the highway facility are all service bays, they're multi-use, there's petroleum products, dirt, sand, all that other kind of stuff going into the floor drains and into the holding tank, which is fine, but the holding tank, it sounds like it's expensive to pump that out twice or 3 times a year. It sounds like that number's $10,000 a year. Excuse me.
$4,000 a pump up.
What's that, 4,000?
Pump up.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, the long and the short of it, I've talked some of the technical stuff with Mark and Bill. I think an oil water separator project's doable for the town, and we actually have one going on right now down in our neck of the woods, so it's pretty simple. $100,000 is like the top end of the budget of a capital project to put one in. You know, so you start doing the math, it's pretty simple. $100,000 capital project versus $10,000 a year, the thing pays itself off in like 10 years. So,
Do you handle all the permitting with DEC?
yep, yeah, so it's a different region down where we are, not that that's any big deal, but I mean, it's the town of Champion that we're working with now. They're basically hands off other than signing paperwork. I mean, that's one thing that our company does for municipalities is, you know, handle the permitting and funding and, you know, pretty much anything that comes up.
How big is the town of Champion in relation to the town of Dannemora?
Yeah, I don't have that number off the top of my
I'm
head.
just curious, is it a 3, 4, 5 bay?
Oh, their facility, I think they're 5 or 6. It's a bit older of a building by the looks of it. But I mean, it's no different. It's snow plow trucks, the occasional fleet vehicle that they drive around. But yeah, it's basically the same size as far as the highway facility is concerned. Yep. So really the big thing, for an oil water separator to be allowed to be put in and permitted by DEC is your service bays have to be in a, you know, either one on each end, or you only have one designated service bay, and that floor drain is removed or basically plugged. So if you have oil, gas, radiator, or coolant, anything like that spill on the ground, you have to pick that up with an absorbent material. It's not supposed to enter any kind of floor drain. And then the remainder of your bays would be either like what they call wet vehicle storage is the classification, or plain water wash bays. So those ones can have your floor drains in it. And the idea is that the only petroleum products that are going in that is just whatever, you know, hydraulic grease or anything that might just get blown off by the water, basically. And then all the dirt and the debris and everything hits the floor drain, goes in, and then the oil water separator has a sludge bay, an oil bay, and then a clean water where the discharge enters. Simply talking, I guess. So I think, based on my understanding of how it's ran now, that might be a little bit of an operation change. Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah, yeah, so I don't think it's anything too major, but again, I'm an engineer, I'm not the one working on the trucks or anything, so that's one thing to weigh in is, you know, is it gonna be tough to make that change, and is it worth it with the cost savings, you know, after 10, 11 years of the scene.
So you figure $100,000 project.
Yeah, and that would be all in. Champions is, like I say, the same size garage, and it's less than that much, so, I mean, again, I haven't looked at your facility or anything, but I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Is that something that is grant money available through New York State or something like that?
That I'm not sure of. So the project manager involved with Champion might have a handle on that. There are financing programs through, I don't know if you're familiar with USDA Rural Development. They have a program called Community Facilities. And that actually, this can apply to your salt storage project too. You can finance anything that the town doesn't have cash available for with them.
That's a federal program, right?
Yep, and it comes with its own strings and everything, but usually a lower interest rate, I believe, is really the selling point than like borrowing, you know, on the municipal market.
Right, they got an office in Canada, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, so so things like that, you know, if this project was something that the town wanted to get off the ground with, you know, we could do a simple study, really hone in on a number, and then also have funding scenarios. You know, you need this much total, it could be a combination of 100% cash, it could be, you know, maybe we find some grants that we can fit the project to. And then a couple different financing plans too for the town, at a town board meeting to consider and see what makes sense. And we do a life cycle cost analysis too, something a little more in detail than just 100 divided by 10. You know, we look at things like there's annual testing of your discharge water, you know, just basically to make sure that it's gasoline and all the other petroleum products aren't hitting that discharge line. That has a cost to it. There's a permit fee cost annually. And then depending on how diligent you are with what goes down the drains, just like your septic tank, you might have to pump it out every 2 or 3 years and get that sludge out of the bottom of it. So, you know, you have that $4,000 cost there. You know, but we look at stuff like that and try to build out, you know, is it 10 years, is it 15 years, is it 20 years before you start seeing a return on your investment? So, and that would all be packaged together in a written report.
And we've started the speeds process here already with the DEC, and I'm in contact with a DEC official, but right now we're having issues with understanding different type of volumes that's being discharged out of this area. And we don't have the expertise to know how to collect that information for the speeds permit.
Yep.
So the girl I'm working with in DEC, her name is Tammy, and she says that she might be able to come down and help us do that, but it's a lengthy process. I think the permit itself is like 35 pages.
Yeah.
So,
So that's, I haven't worked through it myself, but the project manager on Champion is going through it right now, and he's into design now, actually, so. And then when that one's done and permitted, or permittable, you know, we'll go out to bid, we'll facilitate that process for them, and award, and then construction, we'll kind of guide them through that, and then the permit, the closeout part of the permit, and that's all in our house too, so. So, again, if there's any questions after I leave, Bill, you got my card, I believe, my phone number for sure. Mark, it's nice to meet you too.
Casey?
Yep. Yeah.
thanks, Casey.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Casey.
Casey.
Thank you.
Okay, Nancy Bernstein is up next from Anka, talk about street lighting.
Nice office, or, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can go.
I apologize for being a little slow on getting that PowerPoint set up, and it was distracting. I apologize for that. So I work with the Adirondack North Country Association, also known as ANCA. We do a number of things at ANCA, and I won't get into to all of what we do, but the third bullet, Clean Energy, is the program that I work with, and I'm an energy circuit rider for ANCA, which means I get to come to Dannemora and help the town work on ways to find ways to save energy, save money, as well as incorporate renewable energy technology. So let's see if I can get this to Leslie. Okay.
Maybe I can from this side.
Technologically challenged.
Oh, that's funny. People need their,
Where's the next list?
Walking glasses.
I don't need glasses.
Microphone volume.
It's got a button on there. Should I just use it on the...
Yeah, I think you have to do it on there.
Okay.
I don't think this page
Maybe
is
it
up.
doesn't do it there. Well, then if you don't mind, I'll come back here.
Yeah, you can talk about that.
Okay, so the energy circuit riders, as I mentioned, we help, oops, now you got that thing right there.
I don't know, it's not that off.
There you go.
We work with municipalities to help plan, finance, and implement energy saving efforts, as I mentioned. We try to be responsive for your town's needs, what issues you have going on here. And I came and spoke with the town, was it over the winter or last fall, about geothermal heating study. So that was something specific to the town. We try to bring in best practices for whatever topic we are working on, in this case streetlights, and we can work at no cost because we're direct. So We don't have any interest in any of this, we just want to work with you. So I came to talk about streetlights, and LED lighting is something, as you know, you converted all the building's lights here to LED last summer, I believe. And LED lighting is a technology that's grown over the years. LED lights have extremely long lifespan. They're very energy efficient because little energy is wasted in the form of heat or infrared radiation. And they are designed to emit the light directionally where you want it, so you're not having energy lost by light that's reflected in the wrong direction, or sent in the wrong direction. Very high light quality, very bright, very clear lighting. They have very low maintenance costs because the LED lights are very long lasting. So as far as street lights, energy savings are very significant. You can have up to 70% or more, really, of energy savings as far as your kilowatt hours of electricity. They have much lower maintenance costs because they are long lasting. An average street light lasts upwards of 20 years as opposed to the high pressure sodium lights that generally are lighting your street right now that last maybe 5 or 6 years. So they don't need to be changed very often. They have very good uniformity of lighting, so very even lighting on the streets. They are known for enhancing pedestrian and vehicle safety because of the good lighting. They reduce light pollution because, again, they point the light down where you need it. Some people are very concerned with the dark skies compliancy and wanting to not have so much light pollution, so the LED streetlights are dark skies compliant. And they reduce greenhouse gas emissions because they reduce your electricity use. So just in case you weren't aware of your inventory, you have 2 lighting districts. I guess one is a district, lighting district, and the other is, I call it a town at large, Bill, I'm not sure if that's correct. But either way, there are, that's your inventory. There are 107 lights in Lyon Mountain, and there are 23 lights around town otherwise. And they're all high pressure sodium of various wattages. And those are I believe that was May of 2018, the cost per month of those street lights. There are 2 pathways when you want to convert to LED. One is you can work with your utility, NYSEG, to have them do the LED upgrades. They maintain the same ownership structure that you do now, which is they own them and they maintain them. Or you can, at this point, you can now buy your street lights and own them outright. After you purchase them from the utility, then you can upgrade them to LED, but you also assume the maintenance of it. So you receive all the costs. You don't have to rent them anymore. You don't have to pay the high facility charges for NYSEG to maintain them, but you then have to take on that responsibility. In utility conversion, the NYSEG will give you a price when you request it. They call it the unexpired life cost, which is the cost to retire the existing high pressure sodium lights early. Basically, in your rental charges, you've been paying for NYSEG to put that light up in the first place, and so if they're pulling them down or taking them down early, they want you to pay for that cost. So that's something that, I don't know, Bill, if you started that process, but once you request it, you should just take a few days or a week or so, and they'll give a price of that unexpired light cost. Other towns that are also in NYSEG in the area are getting costs anywhere from an average of about $11 or $12 a light on the low end for this unexpired light cost to as much as $65 a light. So it just depends on how old your lights are. Once you get that cost, that is a single upfront and only payment to the utilities to have them then switch them out to LED. You have to switch at least a minimum of 100 lights, or if you have less than 100, then it's 100%. The NYSEG, if you wanted to go ahead with this program, you like everything about it, then the town is asked to select the wattages of what you want to put, what LED wattages you want up in place. The NYSEG has a limited choice of wattages. Right now, they only offer 4 wattages, and the color temperatures are what give you that a whiter light or a yellower light, and they only offer 2 color temperatures. We expect that they probably will offer, be announcing a few more wattages choices in July, which will be good, because that's a little limited. But energy savings is going to be more like 50 or 75%. But still, nice, like, because they're still renting them to you, they still are receiving some money, and that's why you don't get as much as the 75% savings. And the typical payback periods based on paying that unexpired life cost is really about 6 months. So it's pretty quick that you're going to start receiving the savings. Now, municipal ownership, if you wanted to outright purchase your lights, it's a higher upfront cost to purchase the equipment because you're not just buying the lights, you're also buying the arms. You don't buy the poles, but you're buying the arms and the whole fixture. But once you do, then you have many options for fixture types, wattages, color, temperatures, and whether you want to add different smart controls. Smart controls there's a whole range of things you can do. You can have things that monitor traffic. You can have sensors that spread Wi-Fi for your community. You can have sensors that monitor the weather conditions in different parts of your town. There's a lot of various new smart controls that are out there if that's of interest. Your bill reduction is going to be higher because you don't have to pay those rental costs anymore, so it can be as much as 60 to 75% after you've purchased everything and converted it. But the payback period is much longer, 4 to 11 years, because it's a much higher upfront cost to purchase everything. And there are some rebates that NYSEG has for purchasing LED streetlights. Not when you're doing a utility conversion program because you don't own them, but when you own the lights, you have access to some of those rebates as well. So there's just a cost analysis, or comparison rather, between the utility and municipal ownership pathways. Less money up front with utility owned, but less savings over time. With municipally owned, you have more money up front, but potentially more long-term savings. With utility owned, there's less choices in wattage and color, more so with municipally owned. Actually, there's a huge choice in wattage. But with utility owned, you have to maintain it, with utility owned, NYSEG maintains it just like they do now, and if you own them, then you have to maintain it, whether it's with your own staff or whether you work with a maintenance contract with some outside firm. The timelines are maybe a little misleading. It's much quicker and simpler to go with the utility owned, but it's not like if you said yes now that you'll have them change in 3 or 4 months. NYSEG is just starting this program, and it's likely a number of communities around the state are all going to want to move forward. So it might take a little bit longer for it to happen, but it's still a simpler process than with the municipal ownership. It takes a little bit longer just to get through everything. If you went with the municipal ownership, and I'll talk about that just briefly, I don't know if that's something that interests the town at all, but you would go through by issuing a request for proposal for an energy performance contract. That's one method, and getting a private contractor to come in and do a turnkey approach to assist the town with the purchase of the lights and all the steps that it takes to get down there. And they can even assist with maintenance contracts. That's typically not very available to communities with a small number of lights, like under 300, which you are under 300. It is possible to piggyback on a contract that another municipality who's moving forward with this project. But then jumping down to the 4th bullet point, it's also to participate in an aggregation through New York Power Authority. They have their Smart Light Street Lighting New York program, which is working with it's targeting smaller communities around the state to help you be able to purchase your street lights and convert them to LED. So they're using their bargaining power to make it possible. The 3rd bullet point is using in-house resources to procure and install LED lights yourself, so a community managed approach. And I might skip over some of this, but there are various options for financing if you are purchasing them. Obviously, you can municipal finance with various, we'll see in a second. Municipal finance, there's tax-exempt municipal leasing, there's energy performance contracts, and there's NYPA's energy service contract. Again, this is where I want to just go over briefly. Issuance of municipal debt is one form of municipal finance, so your bonds and your bonds. Bonds are low cost and short-term, bonds have lower interest rates, but both of those will impact your borrowing capacity and your debt rating. You also can use capital funds or operational funds, but that could result in incremental conversion, because the communities who kind of choose that pathway, don't convert all your lights at once, they just do them slowly, and the issue with that is that you don't get your savings. You only get your savings once you convert them, so the longer it takes to convert them, the more time it takes to kind of reap the benefits. And then many times people are financing with tax-exempt municipal leases. This is, so instead of ownership of the lights, you'd be leasing the lights until you finish paying them off. In which case, at the end of the term, that's when you resume ownership, start ownership of it. The real advantage of a tax-exempt municipal lease is that it doesn't impact your credit rating or your borrowing capacity. An energy performance contract, again, is working with a single contractor doing a turnkey service. Once a contractor will come in and perform an energy performance contract, they have guaranteed that your savings on whatever energy improvement that you're making is going to be what pays for the work that's to be done. So they will guarantee that you're not going to be paying any more in the future for the work that you are now. And then after the term of the contract, which is usually less than 10 years, I think it's mandated to be less than 10 years, then you'll start reaping the savings. But again, this is hard to do with smaller projects. NIPA is, if you wanted to go with municipal ownership, NIPA seems to have the best offer because they are working with small communities. They're doing the turnkey approach, but they can do so by aggregating many small communities together to make it worthwhile. Next, I want to just speak briefly about streetlight design. And for the most part, the street lighting in our communities has been something that's kind of grown just by chance over the years. It's not like somebody went out there, whether it was a utility or the municipality, decided we want to light our streets like so. This is how we want it. It kind of just grew as the town grew, and somebody requested a light often, and they got it because electricity was cheap, and there wasn't necessarily a lot of thought put into it. So at the time when you're considering switching to LED is the time to perhaps think about, maybe this is a time when we can redesign our lighting. And how do we want to light our streets? We want to make sure you achieve uniform lighting that's going to be safe for pedestrians and vehicles. Obviously, that's paramount. You want to ensure that you're going to have good community acceptance. LED lights are different. They're brighter, or they can be brighter. They're a whiter color. Even though the different color temperatures are still different than the really yellow high-pressure sodium or the older mercury vapor lights are. So the responsibility is on the municipality. Even if you go with the utility program, the responsibility is on you folks to decide which wattage and color temperature you want to use. So if you choose right, that's fine, and that's great. If you don't, then you might have complaints from the community members who feel like it's too bright or it's shining in their window and so forth. It's also a time when you might decide whether you want to eliminate any lighting or certainly add any new lighting, in intersections that haven't been well lit in the past, or areas that you just really don't feel like the light is necessary. So one of the offerings that ANGA is bringing to you is that we are proposing a streetlight design aggregation. In the NICEAG territory, which you're part of, you certainly, if you're really interested in owning your streetlights, that's fine, and that's certainly a pathway you can take. But in the NICEAG territory, the utility conversion program is showing to be a pretty good deal. As I mentioned, it's 6-month payback of your investment. You're going to start seeing 50% savings on your street lighting bills. It's kind of hard to pass up. But even if you go with the utility conversion program, and as I mentioned, you're going to have to supply the utility with your choices of where you want the light, what lights to be switched to what wattages and what colors and so forth. So in our design aggregation, we are asking one municipality, and we're hoping it's going to be this kind of class, but they've agreed to it, and we're still working out the details, to issue a request for qualifications to identify a design company And then with input from other municipalities, the lead community will interview and select a contractor. Then once they work out a contract, then participating municipalities are able to piggyback on the contract. And each municipality then would work one-on-one with the contractor to develop unique lighting design that you would then use to submit to the utility. So the idea of the benefits of aggregation is to reduce costs for everybody. So if we get enough lights together, this lighting community, a lighting contractor will hopefully reduce the soft costs and provide an overall cost that's less to everybody. They also will be doing a forensic audit, which is they'll be looking at what you're being billed for and what you actually have on the ground, what your inventory really is, because in many cases they don't match. And I say if they're billing you for something that isn't really what's out there in the field. If there's any savings, if you've been overpaying over time, then you're eligible to get some of that money back. And so that's one benefit. And there's always a benefit for potential shared services, which is a big thing around the state these days. So we proposed this streetlight design aggregation. I gave Bill a copy of the resolution that we're asking communities to consider if you're interested in pursuing the aggregation. We don't know at this point if it's going to be an advantage or not. From the contractors, we've had the sense that it could cost somewhere around $20 a light for the design, and a full streetlight inventory and design. So it's not a huge cost when you're talking 130 lights or so at $20 a light. And so that's the next steps that you would take would be to request the unexpired life costs or the asset purchase price. So the first one, the unexpired life cost, is the utility conversion. The asset purchase price is if you wanted to go for municipal ownership. That's something that Bill can do from NICEAG, and Bill, if I didn't already provide you with the address, I will. Then calculating cost savings to determine whether you want to go with utility conversion versus the municipal ownership. I can say I did start that process already, and I made a few copies. I'm not sure who best would get it. Maybe the member the copies I made. But this, the savings, so for May of 2018, your street lighting bill for Lion Mountain, and on the back is for Dannemora at large, but for Lion Mountain was $1,216. I did two kind of conversion scenarios, LED 1 and LED 2. Just because I don't know what choices that will be made, and I didn't account for removing any lights or adding any lights. I just tried to keep the same bill and put the new tariff, charges on it. So under one conversion, it would be $640 for the same month, and the other is $489. Oh, sorry, I read the wrong one. One scenario is $576, and the other is $727. And the bill now is $1,216. So that's a 47 to 60% of what you're paying now, the savings. So anyways, that's just something for you to look over, give you an idea. And if you're interested in that design aggregation and pursuing whether it could work, then the resolution that I gave to Bill and Leslie is something that you might want to consider. It's not a binding resolution, it's just saying, yes, we're willing to see, how this progresses and might be interested if it looks favorable. And that's pretty much the next step at this point. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Well, I can tell you, I agree with your cost savings, because we just switched my entire facility to LED lighting, internal lighting,
And where's that?
and it paid for itself in 3 months.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, it's,
And then they take away the heat
yeah,
issue with that as well.
that's partly why they.
Environmental. That we meant for not only our building, but also our employees.
But, as you can see from,
You were in school.
this isn't a great picture of street lighting, but the lights are different. You don't notice them in interior so much, but on the street lights, our historic street lighting has been very yellow, and people are really used to that very warm colors, and some people have complained about the brighter lighting, the whiter lighting, the color choice of the LED, and, the police and fire, they like it because it's actually, they can see a lot better, they feel it's safer. But it is different, and so I encourage you to make sure when you do switch, to just get it right, because you don't want to have, people upset with you.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you, Nancy.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Mr. Bear and Mr. Whitbeck, you guys are up next.
My name's Art Whitbeck. I'm the current gatekeeper down here at Shady Lake. And we're talking with Joe Barron and everything like that there. And I asked him if he could come up with a presentation here to all you board members and Bill included, that we can tell you something about the gatehouse down there. And I've been doing it for, 8, 9 years, and I invited all council persons, president and past, supervisors, president and past, and nobody has ever gone down there to see anything about the gatehouse. So Joel's going to give you a nice little presentation here, so that maybe all you people will understand about it. Joe?
Well, the real Raymond Barrett Senior.
Want us to make a minute, or you want us to?
I ran the gatehouse for quite a few years, until I ended up with a heart attack, couldn't do it anymore. Since 2001, the town owns the dam, not DEC. Correct me if I'm wrong or somebody else. That dam renovation cost about $1.5 million. I think we have a 20-year loan on it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it's a little longer.
Longer? Well, we still owe on it apparently.
Yeah, I think it was a 30-year loan.
30. All right, the Indian Dam cost $3.5 million. McGregor Dam that the Indians have its reservation. DEC owns that dam, but the Indians let them think so. They do what they want. This is a Class C high-level dam. We had a 10-year inspection with an engineer. AES did the inspection, cost $6,000. That $6,000 consisted of the engineer walking 1,800 feet of concrete, full length of the dam. And it's all on paper somewhere. What he saw was some expansion joints that needed to be replaced, the wire mesh on the spillway, a few trees cut here and there, and a couple loads of dirt brought over here. That's one hell of a lot of money for $6,000. That's a 10-year inspection. Nothing was done underwater. Nothing was done at the spillway. You can't see the condition of the spillway when you got poured a 12 inches of water right over it. That has to be done at a certain time when the lake is down, or has the lake lowered for work being done. Along with that, we get a 2-year, every 2 years we had an engineer with the gatekeeper who walks the perimeter. He asks our question, do you have problems? What do you tell me? What do you see? What's wrong? Then every year, once a year, we get a DEC engineer. He walks with the gatekeeper. I don't know what we pay those two. I have no idea. I'll come back to the DEC engineer. Gate number 3 was repaired in 2004, it was 3 years old. Gate number 1 was repaired in 2008, was 7 years old. Gate number 2 was repaired in 2012 at 11 years old. I'll get back to those. There's no inspection or maintenance work that's been done for 2 years. Now, standing here with you people is not any different than it was when I was taking care of the gates myself. Twice in those years have I seen any town person at the dam. One was Jerry Gagne, he was a committee person. They appointed him a committee person at that time. The other person was Dick Dajna. We were putting in, I believe, probably gate number 3. And Hot Underwater had to rent a chainsaw with a 3-foot chainsaw blade so that we could cut a hole in front of the building. We brought a gate down, the town brought it down, they brought it to the boat launch. I put it on an old truck, an old car hood, took my truck, we skidded it across the lake, we hadn't pulled it. In the meantime, Dickie Dajna happened to be there and he fell into the hole, slipped. 2 people in all the years. Yeah. Supervisors, council people, none. There has to be more. There should have been more. I understand there's a problem with underwater. I'm sorry to say this, Mrs. Clinton, Mr. Trump, with their little email program, little twerks. When you got a project that big, that's been going on with underwater, and nobody knows what the hell is going on except Art Whitbeck, and he's under the gate country. There should be people from the town, the council people, the supervisor, going down, talk to these people while they're there working. Hey, look, how much money you got invested so far? You know, how much are, what's our cost factor so far? You know, I did come in here with the intention of pissing people off, but to show fits, where? Now we'll go back to, it's a little drawing I made of the trash rack. I wasn't going down there to take a picture of it. Trash rack is 14 foot deep. The new trash rack, I have no idea what it costs, you people do. The old trash rack, Art was lowering the water. Somebody's dock, a huge portion of a dock, 4x4s, 6x6s. The ice broke loose. Unknown to Art, it's floating down the lake, eventually getting down to the gatehouse. He's not there. But when the gates are open, the gatehouse, you've got the damnedest whirlpool you ever saw in your life, and was drawing it right down. In the meantime, he don't know it, can't see it. This dock is ruining. The trash rack has been there since 2001. Pounding hell out of the concrete sidewalls, pounding hell out of the foot pieces that hold the trash racks, sheared up the trash racks hell. Otherwise, all 3 gates would have been in terrible condition. So, costly? Yes, it's costly. And it's going to get more costly. the gates are used more than they ever were. We're going through the invasive species series, and that's causing the gates to be open and closed more and more and more. Putting a lot of wear on it. Right now, the biggest thing that's needed is maintenance. Art, we have a gate this weekend. I said 20 minutes to half an hour. No, sorry if it takes a little longer, but that's the way it is.
Right.
We talk about the gates, they talk about gates. We never had a gate problem, never. It's always a frame. The gate itself never caused a problem, it's a frame. So you might want to pass that down around, get it back, end up with a bill. Give you a minute to look at it. Another costly factor that people don't know about, when Louisiana had their big levees opening up and all kinds of water problems, the government says, hey, you people got to do something about that too in your place, even though it's a small dam. Well, emergency action plan was done. It started out to be an estimated $27,000, cost $36,000. And what it did was they hired this company out of Massachusetts, I think it was. They took every homeowner that would be in line with the dam breaking, all the way through into Eldora. Home, phone numbers, addresses, house numbers, you name it. Copy of that's with the town. A copy went to the Clinton County Emergency Services. I'll give you an example. What's expected. If Art saw that the dam had a big leak, first thing he's supposed to do, if he's there, or anybody, is call 911. Call Bill Chase, call Taft, whoever, call everybody. Call that girl, Mrs. Agnew, on Plant Road. Time she answers her telephone, she's going to say it's too late. I'm in Eldora. That's another big cost factor. The dam's expensive, you bet your life it is. The one thing is, we own it. Chattagay Lake doesn't own it. They have no control over their water. If we allow just a spillway to take care of the water level, there ain't enough room in this building to take care of the people that would be in here after your throats. Sometimes one gate, sometimes all three. It all depends. I've been there. When we had the problem that Champlain sued us when I was taking care of it, I was told to shut the gates. And I said, no, I'm not shutting the gates. And Eric Day says, you will shut. I said, I will not shut the gates. Because the Indians are getting the water first. My first concern is the people, the property on Chasey Lake. Not Champlain. Not the Indian dam. That's their problem. Ours was here. He called me back, he said, I agree with you. I want to give Bill some paperwork that he can look at, people can look at. When the first gate frame gave us a problem, I got on the phone also with Hunt Underwater. We talked to the people in Colorado, the hydro gate people, and told them, well, we thought their problem was with their gates. Very poorly made. They'd hog, hemmed around a little bit, said, well, excuse excuse me, he said, I'll send you another gate. He said, I'll only charge you $2,500 for shipping. So we put the gate in. And I said to Underwater, there's no way in hell this is going to happen again with that same freight. He said, why? What do you want to do? What are you going to do? I said, I'm going to take that freight to Altona. There's a real good machinist down there. The problem with the freight, and I'll show you with the pictures, the brass slides, top, bottom, and center, were only embedded with epoxy. Every time that gate moves, you've got the whole weight pushing against it. You're allowed 4/1000ths of an inch for clearance to begin with. That's in the bulk mill you're going to be getting. So anyway, he listened to me and he said, okay, what did you plan on doing? I said, get new strips of brass, drilled, tapped, countersunk, go flush with some epoxy. And he listened to me, he said, I'll take the gate back home with me. He took the gate back home with him. This is what one looks like. It cost $1,500 to have it done. Now, if you look carefully, on each side, those are slides. No matter who does any more work on the gate, and even if they use the existing one, if those slides are adjusted correctly, that frame won't last any longer either. I'll send this one down first. Is it a slide?
Yep, yep.
Now, another question I'll just throw out here too, and everything like that, 'cause I told Joe about it. I know you people, most of you all work and everything like that there, but some evening, some weekend or something, I'd like to get the 5 of you, or at least 4 of you, I don't know about Bill, I've invited him down many times, which he hasn't come, to even see the work going on when it's there. But you can get a look at the gates, I can open one, show you how it opens, how it closes, and the inside of the gatehouse, and everything like that. So maybe sometime this summer, sometime we could get together when it's at your convenience.
I guess there's been a little bit of a misunderstanding in regards to what your job title is, as a town supervisor and everything. It'd be me relying on you to tell me. So as opposed to running down there, I mean,
Now, I want to say this to you, Bill, right here. since
and
you-
observing something that I don't understand, I don't know what you accomplished by that,
Right.
okay?
Okay, now, I'm gonna say this here. We were at a meeting a couple of years ago, and I asked you about maintenance on that dam. And you looked at me right here at the town meeting and everything, and you said to me like that, well, all right, go ahead and do it. Right? Me, go ahead and do it. I had to call Chris Hunt on it, and I said, no, okay, that's good.
No, you didn't
And
have to call Chris Hunt.
I did call Chris Hunt and told him. I said, Chris said to me, Art, I gotta wait for the supervisor to call me. I said, exactly right.
It's different.
Right.
As
It
it,
is.
the meeting was all over here. Everybody got up and walked out except right here, Joe. Joe asked me something about that gate and everything like that. You were sitting there and everybody else was gone. And all of a sudden, Art, Art. I looked like that, I went 1 minute, I got through with Joe, and I walked over to you, and you know what you said to me? Why the hell are you throwing me under the bus?
2 years ago now, you're talking about something.
Yeah,
Bringing it up 2 years later.
From last
Okay,
week, Joe, I'm
I
sorry.
understand.
All right,
Believe me.
all right. Again, another picture. It'll go around. You'll see where I put some pencil marks. That's with the stem and the gate wide open. That needs to be greased. The gear mechanism is separate. When you're looking at this stem, there's the same thing down below. The only way those stems can be, and those rods that go down to the gate, can be greased, is by blocking off each one of those gatehouses. And we'll get to that. These gates are starting to turn hard because the grease is old. And in the maintenance manual, it has to be cleaned right down to the bare metal. And then new grease put in, which is nothing more than food service grease. Pass that one down. This one here was taken the outlet underneath. And you'll see where number 2 gate is leaking. That's that route. Goes all, everything get back, send it back to Bill. He gets it all when it's done. When a gate, anytime a gate is open, the outlets have to be plugged. And I'll show you this afterwards. They're heavy, they have to be carried down, lighting has to be brought in, holes have to be drilled into the concrete for this big piece of steel frame that has to go with it. And I might point out, this plug is owned by the town of Dannemora. What legality is involved? Somebody else using it? I have no idea. Has rubber inside, 2 rubber tubes. This is 17 years old. This gets mounted to this first. This is protection in case this valve fails. This gets blown up, air expands it. This gets mounted to this. Without that protection, if the gate is open and these 2 units fail, you have a dead diver, and you can't do nothing till the lake is empty. Because you have no means of stopping the water, none. So this is the most important part of it, anything about the dam. Proper installation and the use of the flows.
So you're saying the plug has to be replaced? Is that valid?
I looked at it, looks good to me. Hot underwater, uses it, he has no problem. He looks at it, says, hey, looks good. If somebody else uses it, I don't know. Might check with the lawyer on that for legality purposes. But the town owns the plug.
Is there a warranty on that, Joe? You know? Any idea?
This is nothing more than a picture of the spillway. This is what I'm trying to say. You can't tell the condition of that spillway after 17 years of water running over it. Has to be shut down and an engineer look at it. Probably all done, already done, half hour ago.
Probably.
Maybe in past records, Leslie could look up or something like that, where that plug came from.
As far as I know, it
Been
came,
there, like Joe said, it looks good and everything like
as far as
that.
I know, that plug came from Hydro Gate. I could be wrong. Only hot underwater knows that.
Right.
Because hot underwater people bid the contract for doing it all, the complete dam renovation, every bit of it. He and his father. They've been in business for 53 years.
And another thing too, Joe, maybe we'd be getting to it or something like that, with this dam, with the gates, with the slides when they go up or down, or when we ever have a problem with it, all right? It's always be between November and March. Like he said, when Dicky fell through and they had to cut ice.
That was in February.
I've been down there, and with the gates open, I have a circle about as big as the inline here of your tables. And that's where them guys go down, and the ice is all over the lake. In the summer, when they come for maintenance, that's like they say, it's like going swimming, the diver and everything, he gets in the water because, I mean, it's warm when it's here in the summertime. But it's always in the wintertime when something happens. When the gate is closed, we don't have a problem. When the gate's open, if we can't close it, we got a problem. And that means now we need somebody there.
We don't know. Gate 2 is leaking. Sometimes that happens. It gets a little dirt in the bottom. Sometimes opening and closing it washes it out. Sometimes it don't. It's 12 years, I think, what happened. I said, to get people to go down there with that new trash rack and to follow OSHA regulation when you get divers in the water. That's not going to be one man down there taking a peek. He's got to move that trash rack. Those trash racks have been put in sections, and I'm sure they're made out of 2x2 channel iron. H-iron, sorry. Galvanized steel. And I think once they're unbolted, they're going to take airbags to move them to one side. Because that's the only protection you got for the whole gatehouse, or underwater. I don't know, Bill, who you got coming in for doing some work. I would not let anybody, even near the place, without them having a copy of this. Any other questions?
So what's your current proposal for bringing it back? What's the immediate need for the dam right now?
The slides, the ones underwater, gotta be checked and everything like that there, because it's been over 2 years, all right? And they're getting harder to close or open. But that there is what Joe says about these big, when you crank them up, we got 3 feet of a neural, like tubes where it comes up. And the same thing goes down underneath. And then the paperwork that's here, and there's a book here in the office someplace. They're supposed to be done every 6 to 12 months, all right? We could get away with 1 year on the greasing of all of them because we don't raise them and close them all the time. But that there and the slides and everything like that. And then the only other thing, when there was a big controversy with the town here and Hunt underwater, the last thing that he had to do underwater and everything there, where Joe was saying about them big racks. Now, the racks that got bent all up and pulled out of here were brought up here.
They're back here.
Scott knows, Mark knows, and they were made out of plastic like.
Fiberglass.
Fiberglass, right. The ones that they put in down here now, they went back, they're galvanized, and there's 5 sections. They're very heavy, and they got to put them in 5 sections. Them fiberglass ones, there was only 2 sections, but they were wider, so they covered all the 3 gates and everything like that. But them got to be taken off. I mean, for that to look there and everything, just to check to see if any of that brass that he's saying on the slides is starting to curl. What it does is it curls off the bottom as it keeps going up and down, and then when you go to close it, if it curls up that inch out or something like that, you just can't close it. But you're still only open a couple of inches. I mean, you're not losing a lot of water. We're not going to drain the lake until it gets fixed, and that's for sure. So the main thing is the greasing them slides down. And to get back to the trash racks, there's big L-shaped, I believe, I was looking at the camera on the underwater diver that Hunt was pointing out to me, and there's big, like 1-inch bolts that go through it to hold them there. They just look like a glob. They were so rusted because they're iron. And he had a sandblaster for underwater that he was sandblasting them off, and he had time he did that, and I mean, when they were in the water in May or June, he said it'll probably be September when I come back, and then he never came back because he had trouble with the town, so. That still isn't being done either, so.
I don't know what other company bill or the town, what do people have in mind, I don't give a goddamn. I know we need maintenance.
In July, he's coming.
And having seen and
Art's known this
watched this
for
program so much,
over a month now.
the
Oh,
OSHA
sure.
people, I hope these people
Yeah, I
do
told
everything
you.
OSHA regulated.
I told you the guy was gonna be reaching out to you. Yes, I have, Art.
You told me he's coming, that's right.
Right,
That was 4 or 5 weeks ago.
yeah, and
Now,
July
he
is,
just called me-
July, it's not July yet.
You didn't say July.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
Because he
did.
just called me.
Well,
Okay, I told you he's coming in July.
next week, all right.
All right, time's up.
Bill, can I ask Joe a couple questions?
No, we're moving on with the meeting. The presentation is over.
Good.
Here you go, Art. Here's your copy of what I got today from Doug Ferris.
Okay, I think you got it today. Because he said he'd be here within the next 2 weeks, that was Monday.
Okay, and that's July. July 1st is next,
Well,
is
that's
Sunday.
good. You knew it was July. I didn't. You told me he's
Okay,
coming.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
I know
I told you.
I'm just
Okay?
telling you.
So right, at this moment in time, is there any point the dam will, any of the gates will fail?
No, not until,
No,
no.
So there's no immediate danger for the dam, the mechanisms to be at a failure point?
They have to be open, Joey, for them to fail.
Okay, got it.
Right.
closed right now?
Well, they're closed right now. I had them open before because the lake was up and I get these calls and they call Bill.
Can we leave them closed until this maintenance takes place?
Oh,
You
yeah,
can.
definitely, as long as we don't get 7, 8 inches of water. But I can leave that in there. But all I'll have is all the people, which Bill knows, be calling up and they yell about the high water, you know, so. No, but we can keep them closed until maintenance is done.
That's not, it's not an open question.
until the maintenance
No.
happens. If at all possible, I think that's the.
Cause and effect, Bill, I'm asking a question about cause and effect.
Oh, I'm good, we're going. Okay, thank you.
Art,
We gotta get moving on this.
We'll-
It's,
we'll get with you.
Yeah, sometimes, that's all I'm saying.
Just not more than 2.
Well, not more than 2 a year at once.
okay,
You can't have all of us there.
See you later.
See you later. Thank you.
okay, we're moving along here. Committee reports. I'm up. Go first, I guess. In your packet, you got a report from the Youth Commission, just to let you know. That's for May. June, we didn't get anything. We got Chris Diaz here from Verizon about the network fleets thing last month. And the offer expires on the 30th in regards to cost saving for Verizon. And it's $18.95 per vehicle, $110.23 upfront time, one-time hardware costs, and $65 per vehicle for professional installation. Are we going to move forward in that regards? For the vehicles, in particular, we should be putting something in the new truck. Does there, anybody disagree with that?
No, I think it's a good idea.
What about what about all 3 trucks that we're going to actually end up using?
Fine with me. If you're gonna do it like that, absolutely, that's, I don't know, you're gonna spend money for 20 miles of road, destructure on it, I mean, you go find them in 20 minutes. You go find them all.
It's the maintenance and,
Do it under the prevention.
well,
Doesn't it come with like a towing warranty, something like that with these?
They don't have this page 5.
As roadside assistance covers 4 incidents annually per vehicle.
Yeah, my thought when he was here last month was some of these vehicles are a little older and it's having some issues, so if you gave you one that needs to get towed a year, the whole fleet, this will cover your cost for that system.
You know, my opinion, I don't think you should go with my opinion, I don't think you should go with a high-end warranty, but definitely it's all.
No,
No.
not the warranty,
Oh, the Verizon, okay.
the Verizon thing,
Page 5.
page 5 of your,
Lower right.
the new vehicle definitely. It's the Verizon,
Okay, yep,
fleet word,
yep,
that word.
yep.
Roadside assistance.
Okay.
Mark, we're talking about the Verizon network fleet thing. $18.95 per vehicle monthly includes real-time GPS and lifetime history, real-time diagnostic trouble code alerts, maintenance scheduling, service records, roadside assistance covering 4 incidents annually per vehicle, fuel consumption reduction tools including idle speed and aggressive driving monitoring. So it's $110.23 up front. One-time hardware cost, $65 per vehicle for professional installation. Limited lifetime device warranty. This is it's not a contract. We could cancel anytime. You can set it up, test it out, don't like it, something we can use. But I think the brand new truck at least needs it.
Already has one. Right from Charlie Boys. They can adjust the truck right from their computer at Charlie Boys.
That wasn't in the package that I reviewed.
Well, that's what Sandy was telling me.
That's news to me.
Okay, that's news to you.
Sandy gave us an update on that, Mark, but that wasn't in the package that I reviewed from them.
No, does that bring it down? Does that bring the truck down to them? Huh?
This is going in the dump truck.
The dump trucks, yes, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, they give you a price, but it explicitly says that they want the VIN number, year, make, and model to build a quote for your review, so it's, when they throw a price out at you, that's not even, they're gonna look at it.
Well, we can ask to build a quote and see where we are from there. Get the VIN numbers.
One tow was what, Mark?
Yeah, sometimes.
It's one way,
$100.
500 one way. That's about 20 miles.
This covers 4 incidents annually per vehicle.
Well, that we want to check into. Make sure it's for sure, you know, and it covers everything.
Yeah, might want to check it.
Yeah, well, what are you thinking might not be covered because of, on the side of the road you need
It's like
to...
drivetrain things, and they tell you gotta cover warranty, but when some things go,
This is just roadside assistance, Scott, covering 4 incidents of the trucks broke down. That's all. It's not,
This isn't part of the
Almost like your point.
right, it's like AAA, basically.
Yeah, so I mean, they're gonna bring you a 5-gallon diesel, or they're gonna tow you?
yeah, but you say you're gonna come and look at you, or you're gonna come and tow you?
They're gonna come and tow you.
Like if you break down, they'll
Yeah, you better
tow
make
you.
sure.
Yeah,
They're gonna come look at it.
Let me just want to ask what I
I'm
checked.
pretty sure that's what he said when he was here, was towing.
You did, it is getting on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then, I mean, good deal.
That in itself would probably be worth it.
Yeah.
18,
You
You
know,
get one truck a year that gas get towed over, does it pay for it?
pays for the whole thing.
we
And
got-
that's for incidents
Yeah,
per vehicle
I mean,
per year.
Okay, so we're gonna,
Ask if they can put a full proposal together basically, but we're just saying that, instead of the old stories, I'm saying, I see a proposal first.
okay.
And where are they going to?
Table for the quote.
Are they going back to here, or are they going to their facility?
They towed to, I think what he said was they were towed to the nearest service center to fix whatever they diagnosed the problem to be.
oh, that. All right, very worth it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get a hold of them, get a proposal, and we'll bring it up in the next meeting.
You get around to the insurance papers.
Right, tomorrow. Okay, emergency services just put out a thing, I'll just read it. There's a high temperature and high indexes are expected to impact the North Country this weekend. The current forecast for several days with maximum temperatures above 90 degrees with mid to upper 90s possible on Sunday and Monday. So, I just, public knowledge, whatever, for whoever was here at the meeting. All right, from the village, Mayor Bennett they've got scheduled a meeting on July 13th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Saranac Fire Station. Attorney Terrence Hannigan is going to be there to discuss the EMS program and any questions anybody has that was discussed on June 7th at the community building will be answered there. So basically getting a second opinion on that EMS program that the village, town of Dannemora, town of Saranac, town of parts of the town of Blackbrook would enter into. Correct, Steve?
Yes, this is a different attorney than the first one.
Yeah, different journey than Penske, right?
Actually, yes.
Okay, this October, just a local government conference hosted at the SUNY Postan is October 9th. I just got a notice, if somebody's interested in that, we can, there's a place to register online and what they're offering. Also, July 12th, there's some training out in St. Lawrence, Lewis, Bosse's, in St. Lawrence County, in Canton. It's on July 12th. It runs from 9 to 4. The Division of Local Government and School Accountability is offering a series of regional seminars for municipalities and school district officials. Topics: understanding the budget process, multi-year planning tools, policy and procedures to govern your municipality or school district, and ask the auditors. Okay, Sandra Karen, she was supposed to have taken her sewer operated test I think it was June 19th, and that's been now rescheduled to July 10th, 1:30 in Burlington. It's a 3-hour test, so she'll be going over there on July 10th. The asbestos inspection in the old town hall, that started on the 14th of June, just to let everybody know, KAS was in there. I think they had to go back. There was a problem with getting into the state police office. We found the key, and they've been back, so we should be getting a report in regards to their findings. Tentative dates for the start of the work for the gates. Not gates at the dam. Our fencing project with C&E fencing, the tentative dates, they're going to start up in Line Mountain July 23rd, 24th, and 25th, weather permitting. I had Dave Whitford. We went up and looked at that building up there on our town property, on the mines property, the building that David Siskavich used to use in his sand project, and in order to move the building, it would probably cost us more to move the building than his estimate after talking to a structural engineer of potential cost of $200,000. So the other thing I had told you guys before was about building a road to that building, and that's possible. Some of the things that with Dave we're going to work on and putting the building back in order to a usable. That provide electricity, maybe open up so the vehicles can get in there, right, Mark? And there's some repairs, so moving the building is probably not an option, but maybe being able to access it through Mine Hill and building a good road there, and then we can put that building to use, and it's actually something we got to do. I think you agree with me, right, Mark? Yeah. Okay. As Casey Dickinson indicated, he was here, Liz Temford, that occurred on 5/31. Also on 6/13, Liz came with Andy Abdallah out of his engineering group in regards to the salt storage shed. Haven't heard nothing back from Andy. Ore sand addendum, that agreement's been signed by both parties, myself for the town and Frank Catino for Alliance. The ore sand total for May, just the only taken 3,434 ton. And Leslie hasn't tallied up June yet, but they started 2 weeks behind. The amendment to the agreement is They can take up to 60,000 now. I believe they'll be lucky if they get to 40. And that's the rate they're pulling stuff out of there.
They start later this year?
Yeah, they were 2 weeks behind. Okay, speaking of Sandy from Charlie Boys, talked to him today. They don't have the truck as of yet. It's been hung up at Tenco. Possibility that it's going to be delivered to them maybe the end of this week, even this weekend. And they've got to do some things to it when they get it, so that's where the truck is, Mark.
Okay.
Still not in the area yet. We had some vandalism at the Shazy Lake, bathroom last night. Somebody kicked in some boards and bathroom stalls and stuff. So I've contacted MagSafe and Locks, and we're gonna get some deadbolts put on the bathroom doors, and the bathrooms will be locked at night when the lifeguards aren't there, and unlocked when they are there. And that's gonna be taking place next Monday, July 2nd. The new beach phone, just for everybody's information, there's a cell phone down there now. It's 518-491-3746. That's the new beach phone, 491-3746.
Page 6.
Okay. Well, the public knows now. Put it in the minutes. Please. Okay, Sandra Karen again received her t-shirts and pants we purchased for her position as the water and wastewater person in Line Mountain. Just to let everybody know that. Last Friday was a very interesting day. Normally on Fridays not a lot going on, but Leslie ended up working. She was here until past 3:30, I believe, in the afternoon, due to the fact that there was some problems with the generator running. And we called up Kinsley, and their service guy didn't show up till 3 o'clock. And he actually thought because we started watering the plants, non-potable water, which comes from the well, it had something to do with kicking on the generator. But it has something to do with there's something going on in our fire protection building. And actually, Butch is working on getting an electrician in here to check things out for us. But that was one of the things on last Friday. 7 o'clock in the morning on last Friday, I was at the Shazy Lake Beach to hook up, to unlock the boat for Dad's plumbing. Because what occurred out there is something caught with the, what's he dropping the bucket there? Out in the water?
Oh, the
Foot valve.
yeah, foot valve.
Yeah, well, the line got caught by a boat or something and actually caused the whole system to plug up. So they had to go out there by boat and fix that system. And so we let them use the boat with lifeguards. That was last Friday. Another thing on Friday, just good for the community. I got water sourced to Line Mountain. We put up some flowers on the intersection of Standish Road and 374, flowers that were donated from Franklin Correctional. Got Colin Lombard to help Nancy clear the area there. Mark brought up some topsoil, he brought up some compost, and we've got flowers planted up there. But I had to bring the water hose up and everything for Nancy. We got them watered, they're raved. Anna Gilwatch last night watered the place for us, so that's just trying to spruce it up. I got permission from state DOT, it's their property to do what we're doing there. Told you about the generator issue. Also last Friday, 12:30 or so in the afternoon, Midge Hulbert, she's the owner of 1201 General Leroy Manor Road. It's a building that nobody's occupied for 20 years, her house. She's renting it out now, and her husband Jack, and the sewer was not working. I took a trip to the sewer plant and spoke personally to, was there Eileen or Elaine? Elaine. Informed them of what the issue was down there. They went down sometime after 4. They marked the spot they thought the problem was in. That same afternoon, I had to go to Plattsburgh, the AES office, to get the as-built plans for the Dannemora Sewer District. For some reason, the village, for the last, 15 years, has not had any of the plans for that place, although they're under contract with us. And then Saturday morning, I met with Josh LeWare at Maple Fields in Dannemora at 7 o'clock, and I handed him over the plans. At 11:42, he gave me a call to tell me the issue had been resolved, and the sewer was working at 1201 General Leroy Manor Road. Throughout those 2 days, there were several phone calls with Mrs. Hulbert to keep her informed, and a follow-up call I made on Sunday morning to make sure all was still good. One other thing, took around, on the 15th, I was down at Chasey Lake Boathouse with NYSEG, also with Larry and Lisa McGinn, in regards to, we're gonna have power, they're gonna put in a power pole. We've got to buy a pole, hire somebody to put in
This guy,
a meter.
here.
Yeah. But they're gonna run the line down the road to their pole that they've got to put in, and then there's a certain amount of line they got to run to our pole. It's gonna cost us near about $1,000, so we're gonna have power down there, and they're gonna be able to operate their, not just the derby, the boat wash thing that they're gonna buy.
I see.
Then we had a representative from AT&T call me, his name is Paul Reed, and AT&T is interested in possibly putting some cell towers up in the town. They're looking at 3 areas, one down in the village, they're looking here in the Chasey Lake area, and they're looking up in Lime Mountain. They're possibly interested in putting something up on our water tower in the water above the mines area, for our water district for the town. And the possibility of something here, again, on town property if they can. Or I took them up to the Lowenberg area, went up the road there, but there's no power source up there. But they are looking in those 3 areas. That's all I got.
Shouldn't there be a buoy on that foot valve?
Yeah, that's what we need to get, a buoy. You're right. But he supposedly, yeah. Well, he stuck the
There was
water.
never one there? I thought there was one there.
I don't know. Water line didn't go out that far, but now he's pushed it out farther to try and then a deeper spot.
Good.
Yeah, right, yeah, we need a buoy for that. Write that down, Leslie. Any questions? Okay. Steve? Joey?
No, I will say that, yesterday we had a situation with the facility and the Morrisonville EMS has added to their budget just for the items to supply their ambulance for next year is gonna cost $30,000. $30,000, so if you can see what the impact, now, granted,
doesn't come back anymore, right?
right, and don't get me wrong, Morrisonville has a much higher call out tone than what Lime Mountain does, but you can see that at one time, they got all that stuff free from the hospital saying, no more, we're done, you pay for it yourself, and they said that's gonna be a $30,000 line item alone just to outfit their ambulance.
Jim?
Nothing to report, other than I see a bill for a sewer line in District 2. Well, why did we pay to repair that if the county dug it up?
We paid that because there seemed to be people in the village, Sean Ryan, telling me when I called, well, he first called Mark in regards to that, and then I believe they called Sandy. And then the agreement with the sewer agreement with the town, it specifically states that you call the town supervisor. When I called him, first words out of his mouth was, from what I understand, all I've got to do is cover the pumping station.
If the county dug up our sewer line, why didn't they repair it?
I haven't.
Where did that all lead to the village?
Well, they called looking for somebody to repair it.
What were they doing, ditching or something?
I have no idea what was being done there. Ditching, I guess. And it was some kind of line that's supposedly not on the map. So, and then I ended up calling Josh LeWare, and they came up and fixed it. It was the day I had to be somewhere in Lake Placid. I wasn't in any kind of a mood to deal with somebody telling me that, as far as I'm concerned, for $6,000, all we do was cover the pumping station. He's in, you know.
I didn't understand if the county dug it up, why they just didn't repair it themselves, so.
I don't know.
Can we put in repair the brake, and we had to pay to have the brake done, so
Yeah,
we got that built.
yeah, we can send that. Fine with me. Leslie, write that down, we're sending that bill to the county.
Technically, it create our own bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we'll send them a bill for what we pay. Makes sense.
Joe?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I was gonna report on Sandy, we already did.
Okay. Mark?
All right, now we're helping Sarah Nash with tar, and we're mowing Sunset End Road, and we're ditching Wolford King Road.
What road, Mark? What are you ditching?
Wolford King.
Okay.
Well, not all at the same time, we gotta,
You wanna tell them about your little problem up on our town property?
go up there, behind the powerhouse.
Yeah.
I ended up renting a an E55 backhoe, track hoe on tracks is the only way to get up there without getting stuck. So we went up there and we solved the problem of the road washing out, the powerhouse road that Sandy takes to up to the water plant. If that washes out again, better buy a boat. Because we went right up to the tree line where all the logging roads come down. We dug a 4-foot trench deep, about that wide all the way down, we run it right into the mine hole. So hopefully that don't happen again. If it does, it's,
Yeah, it was washed out pretty bad up there.
that was bad.
Some rain we had though.
Yeah.
Okay. Old business.
Well, before you move into old business, I don't know what this falls under, but there's one bill that's in question. It's a diesel bill from Griffith Energy, a lot of diesel on it and gas. But the total is 2606, and I'm looking at the numbers, it just didn't look right, so I did my own math. And my total, I came up with 3344.45. So I don't know if I'm just, and we did it twice, so I just don't know if I'm not adding the right numbers, but it just didn't look right when I started looking at the other numbers.
Should come up with more?
Yeah.
We own more? Joe? We own more?
Check my numbers, Steve, check my numbers, like, it's okay.
All right. Yeah, maybe they felt guilty over freezing us up in the winter time.
No, I think this is the one where they misbilled something and they rebuild it. They issued a credit,
Well, there is a $794 credit. Yeah,
$737.61.
I didn't count that one.
But that canceled that out.
I just want to make sure we get 3 signatures on it before we send it through. So.
See, Joey, okay, 94032 Another way I double check against this, this is the most recent one, see the amount, our current balance. Okay. So they're all attached.
Okay, so if we just add up.
940.32 plus 737.61 minus 737.61. Sorry to be a pain, but that's a minus. That's a credit.
Okay,
So they
that
cancel.
Okay, so. We used to do it, around that line, 758 watts.
15.
768.
Right now, we all like Leslie's figure, better than yours.
194.82.
Keep back,
713.57. Subtract out 737.61. 7.61 minus.
Okay.
Okay, 606.84. Now you can sign it.
Now we're signing. Question then.
That's fine.
move on?
Yep.
All right,
Checking.
old business. Charlie Boy, truck extended warranty.
Yeah, did y'all have a chance to look at the information that I gave out actually 2 months ago?
Oh, you didn't do the sign the highway thing?
Well, everybody familiar with the truck extended warranty? You recommended
Level 2
level 2
and towing.
and towing.
But if we go with that other program, then I say subtract the towing.
Subtract them all, yeah.
Now, what's level 2 now? What's level 2?
Don't you have your packet right there?
No.
You ever given a packet?
Oh. I don't have no packet.
Did he get a packet?
Yeah, we had an extra packet for him 2 months ago.
Been in mail slot.
Huh?
Been in mail slot.
I don't know off my head mark what level 2 is, but it was, some of it related to the warranty of the engine and the warranty of the,
Is it like 5-year, 7-year deal?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. And even though, and then even, part of that is that extended warranty kicks in the same time the truck gets on site and is in use with the regular warranty. So they ride one another.
Oh,
So when the regular warranty runs out, this doesn't kick in, but they ride on the same date time. So, like I said, I'm not big in extended warranties. Kenny said, we got a quality made truck and a quality made engine. What keeps warranties at bay is that we maintain the truck so they should be maintained. That's simple. It's like disregarding your car, it's gonna fail, right? Same thing with anything else. So I didn't recommend the high-end warranty, it was almost a $10,000 option for the engine and different parts of the subframe. So if we're not ready to talk about it tonight, I don't want to pass something that we're not ready to talk about, so.
You don't need to sign that until, you need at least 90 days.
Yeah, we have 90 days, after the truck is delivered, we have 90 days to actually sign the warranty. So it's not like we have to do something for it.
All right.
Just want to make sure we're all understanding that, that's a
Well, I think we ought to make a decision next month,
lot of money.
right?
Yes,
I agree.
Okay.
because especially the truck's gonna get delivered in the,
Well, hopefully,
long copy.
yeah, by the week after the 4th of July, I would expect, based on the information I got today.
okay. So that just extends us
It's
a
a little,
little more time now.
it's a month behind, they're a month
If you wait
behind.
till the last bit, does it not then kick into that last bit, so you give them 90 days out of it?
No, you go past a certain gate and they charge you $4
But it
extra.
takes in retroactive day delivery.
Yes, it does, yes, it.
Okay,
Mark, can you keep that?
Okay, thank you.
we did page 5 already, rise and flow of
Who did that?
Shazy Lake Beach. Lifeguards are on duty. Just, one other thing, we had 4 loads of sand purchased from Joe Barron, Raymond.
Those are the very senior.
Senior.
Yeah. And there's a lot of sand down there now, so
It's nice.
That's nice, Sam, I'll tell you.
It is.
You gotta get that, so.
the kids love it, and it's only for $100 a load. Tried to get it down to 75, but you didn't go for it.
I told him not to.
Might get a cut.
You got cheap, you got that kind of sand, worth about $250, so.
Overcharging you for fuel.
And thanks to the highway department for delivering the sand. Okay, Leslie's up on this next one, D, insurance breakdown. She's just gonna try and explain it all to us.
Well, I only gave you the top page. It's quite a lot of work to break out all these figures. For one thing, if you look at the top, the general fund is A. They have listed sewer, but we break it out to sewer 1 and sewer 2, Lime Mountain and Dannemora. Same with the water, Lime Mountain water, Dannemora water. Highways DA, the dam, the beach, and the parks all come out of the general fund, which is A. So everything's not attached here. If you really want to see the details, I have them. It's a lot of paper. I'd be glad to show you. But the formulas we came up with when we split out sewer is 75% of the bill is paid by Lime Mountain, 25 by Dannemora. Same with the water. So I have to get a figure first, and then I take 75 and 25, and that's how I split it out. Dam, beach, and parks all get charged in with the general fund. So at the bottom, it's where all the figures are. And when you add up the final totals, it comes up to 47,489.74, which was the total premium due to a barge agency.
So out of the general fund, it's 21,613.77.
Yep.
Out of the highway, 16,566. Lime Mountain Water is $2,835.99. Lime Mountain Sewer is,
Well, Lime, that's Dannemora.
oh, that's Dannemora Water, $850.82. Lime Mountain Sewer is $4,337.26. And Dannemora Water, $1,351.24. Okay? Those are the figures. Others is page 8 in your, we got a, I just want to explain, I've explained it to Mark.
It's actually new business.
Is it? Okay. All right. We are projected to be, well, if Dickie stayed on through the entire year, which he plans on retiring in September, we'll be $31,656.63 over budget in the payroll department and highway. But as you can see, Leslie put in a note there. We add back 14,120. We're going to still be over budget by 17,544. Why we're over budget? Because we only added $5,000 last year to budget towards salary costs for the year, and kept John on the entire winter, and that's and keeping him on the entire year, and pretty much $17,000 being over budget is what he's going to make for the year. So, and we did not put it in the budget.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay?
Yeah.
Are mad.
But we weren't really planning on that to start out with when we discussed the
Yeah.
budget breakdown.
Well, and another, well, we don't have to break down on the vehicle, do we? Yes, we do somewhere, right? That we're buying.
Oh, yeah,
So we
that's in
have
the
a-
resolutions.
That's on the resolutions.
Yeah, just to, well, here's another issue that we found out, that we actually didn't put enough money in the budget to buy the truck either.
Yeah, see, we gotta get some out of
Yeah.
fund
We,
balance, huh?
and we've broken it down, and the reason, I don't know. My math was off by just $63,000.
I'm not.
When I was figuring it out, so I'll take the blame. People want to yell at me, go right ahead. But unfortunately, well, we found this out, and we're breaking it down to, we've got the budget lines are from equipment reserve is 94,000. You got the lease debt principal and the lease debt interest lines, that's another 20,000. Between them, we're taking 25,000 from improvements for capital outlay, and that's 25,000, and then we're gonna borrow right now $63,000 from the general fund, fund balance to get our total of what we're gonna want in the truck. When we borrow it from the general fund, we just have to pay it back within a year. And we might be able to work our Mark's budget to where we get it paid back even before the budget season, right? We've talked about that. Okay. And just to let you know, one of the things Chris Lajway always said, if you pave, you can't buy a vehicle and hire new help. So if you buy a new truck, you can't pave and hire new help. And there's three things. You can do one, she basically said, but you have a tough time doing all three together. Maybe two we can do, but this time it'll be the perfect storm. We bought a truck, we had a guy on extra, and we threw in more money for paving. So, that's why that is there. All right?
And I think you gotta understand too, the reason the board made a decision to keep.
Oh, I have no problem with that, I
No,
just,
no, I'm talking to
oh, okay.
people out here, the reason we made a decision to keep on,
John.
John Schuster, is that we knew we had a retirement coming up in September, and to have someone that has mechanical capability, already has a CDL, is hard to find, and it was a good test point for us to see how he works. And he worked out pretty good, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Gonna be a good addition to the team, looks like, Scott too, yeah?
Very good.
So,
Wants to wear it, wants to be here, wants to do this stuff.
so it's one of those things, you know, if you let him go and we can't find someone to replace Dickey, then the town's at a shortage for quality manpower and support to do the work. So it's just one of those things that you just have to call a shot and see where it goes, and that's how we call it.
And just based on the fact that we discovered these things budget-wise in June, it's a lot better than discovering this in, say, October, November. So, you know. Okay? Oh, SimQuest, copier proposal. Page 9, 10, 11, 12. Leslie and, I believe Debbie met with him first and talked about things in regards to the current copier we got, and he's actually sent this letter to Bob Chase and Leslie today. On the first email there. At her names. The first email explaining, I guess, the reasoning of why we had to replace the shop copier that we've had for, what, 3 years now? 3.5 years. I've had some issues with that copier. Actually, I'm trying to copy something on my computer. That copier, I sent it there yesterday and it still hasn't copied it. As of yet today. It was a 26-page item.
It's getting quirky, for sure.
Is
And it's
there
out.
maintenance
It's
guys-
out.
coming on it?
It's out. Well, we haven't renewed it yet. That's what began all this, because I got a very snarky phone call asking for accounts payable. I said, well, that would be me. And she proceeded to say, are you going to pay your bill? And I thought, excuse me? So I had never even received a bill. So that goes backwards right here. Apparently it was due in March, but we never received a bill. I'm finding their service fee substandard, really.
Lock Rose has been bought out by National One.
National business. So this girl was in Albany, and anyway, and then all of a sudden we had an overage, which just seems impossible. So we had an additional bill of $62 because we copied more than we're allowed to, and they've since credited that back to us. But anyway,
So what are you proposing?
Well, what's being proposed here is page 10, purchase copier, $5,403.23. Additional notes, if you note down there, this is a state contract, reflects, well, it normally is $6,734.50, but discount for state and local government, plus they'll give us a $1,346.90 trade-in allowance for the Sharp.
Which is a big advantage over the previous company didn't want to talk. They had taken our copier and we ended up giving it away.
What's the end result, the cost to us?
$5,403.23.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a 5-year warranty versus 3, and it's a fixed rate for that entire 5 years. The service contract is fixed for 5 years.
Okay.
And he actually explains that in his email on page 9. 5-year manufacturer performance guarantee, 5-year fixed service rate.
When the bill generated a call to I got a call from the manager, and I explained to him that ever since they had taken over Lock Rose, we hadn't seen anybody.
Yeah, nobody's been here.
They had never sent a representative to explain things and what would be different with them. And they've been taking over Lock Rose, I think, 2 years now. So, they're actually gonna send somebody down July 9th, but by then, if we were gonna buy that truck, I'll have to call the guy up and say, sorry, but
They also have on staff 13 service techs. So if you do have a problem,
and they're based out of Plattsburgh.
Well, and a primary issue though is that you often hit out jams on you. There's
oh,
a
yes, I'll be
problem.
duplex printing
And
today
it's
at
not
my
like
desk.
you're getting rid of a model that's working well. It's starting to act wonky to me.
So,
Like that, so.
And it doesn't jam in one spot.
Yeah.
And that was frustrating when a copy don't work.
Yeah.
So you want to make a resolution that we buy it?
yeah, if you wanna make that,
I will.
I'll second it. You wanna say the cost though, we have in a minute?
$5,403.23.
I'll second the amendment to the cost.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Joey,
Yep.
Bill.
yes. All right, next item is pages 13, 14, 15. Sandy has had Morris Coolidge helping her out with the water treatment plant, and we're in need of a new chlorine pump up there. It's gonna save approximately $140 a year in chemical cost. Morris is gonna, along with Sandy, install this at no cost to us. And the cost for this new chlorine pump is $653. So, I make the motion that we purchase this.
Oh, that's the pump right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's neither pump, oh, okay. I'll second the motion made by Bill to purchase the moving pump.
And
The price of
$653.
$653.
is there any more discussion? Roll call, Jim,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Joey,
Yep.
Bill.
Yes. And I'll have to extend a big thank you to Morris Coolidge in regards to helping out with installing this and saving us some money there too. Okay, on new business, town offices next week are closed on the 4th, 5th, and the 6th. Actually, Leslie's office will be closed on the 3rd also, 3rd, 4th, and 6th, but all town offices, 4th, 5th, and 6th next week. Any other new business from anybody? Okay, moving into resolutions. Before we approve the bills, I'll read off the monthly expense report by fund. General fund, we spent $51,326.07. Highway, $37,650.23. Lime Mountain Lights, $1,217.63. Lime Mountain Sewer, $55,139.92. Lime Mountain Water, $4,792.47. Dannemora Sewer, $1,768.73. Dannemora Water, $880.82. Ledger's Corners Water District, $1,082.25. Trust and Agency, $1,355.24. And we got a grand total of $155,217.36. Motion to approve the bills.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Joey,
Yep.
Bill.
Yes. Motion to approve the principal bond payment for Lime Mountain Water. As part of the reason there's Lime Mountain Water or sewer.
It's gotta be sewer.
County sewer, right, Leslie? Yeah, but up here you got sewer is at 55,000 in the expense.
This isn't paid yet. This isn't paid yet, it's due June, I'll pay it tomorrow.
Well, just for the water?
It's due July 1.
Yeah, but
Page 16,
16.
Page 16?
that's 31.
why is Lime sewer, 55,000 that we spent there.
This isn't paid yet. This isn't paid yet. Oh, we had the insurance. We had one last, we had the,
55,000, Leslie, in this, I think you should be,
no, because that's what's on the abstract, but that number.
Water.
Yeah,
The water and bill.
did we pay, yeah, it says water on the bill, but it doesn't seem right that we paid 55,000 for sewer. We're gonna pay 4,000, but we got a $30,000 bill for water. See on the expense report here.
And the bills, the month.
Right.
I think it's sewer, because I gave her a check for sewer.
Yeah, but
$2,000, because she said once you pay that.
This is for water.
Right. Did we just pay,
Well-
did we just pay something for sewer? Or did we have a bond payment for sewer?
I don't know, did we? Last month?
Because I gave her a check for 32,000, because she was gonna be down to like 12. And I would have collected that from sewer, and then that much in water.
We had a bond payment last month of $48,943.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So it must be water.
It's water.
It's gotta be water, yeah, we have the bond payment on it.
Okay, it's water, we got you.
Okay.
Yeah. And when you go
That's
to,
yeah, it's just throwing me off with what's on this.
because of what we already spent,
Yeah. Okay,
So we got, I think that was from last.
all right.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to make the principal bond payment of $30,650 to Lime Mountain Water.
I'll second the motion.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Joey?
Yep.
Bill?
Yes. Motion to correct abstract number 1, added $227.22 child support. PMT, abstract number 4, added $446.58 to reimburse homeowners for snow removal damage. And abstract number 6, added $114 for St. Karen's test fee.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve abstract 1 for $227.22, abstract 4 for $446.58, and abstract 6 for $114.
No second.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Joey?
Yep.
Bill?
Yes. Motion to support the town of Plattsburgh, ANCA to explore the LED streetlight design aggregation project, page 21. We're just gonna support the town of Plattsburgh. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
In regards to LEDs, we're not leaning towards ownership, right?
No.
Yeah, just making sure we're all on the same page. Again. All right. Motion to support, pay the new highway truck for the following budget lines. Oh, we already discussed this, $94,194 from equipment reserve replacement, $6,500 from lease debt principal, 16,000. $3,500 from lease debt interest, $25,000 from improvements capital outlay, $63,005.44 borrowed from the general fund balance for a grand total of $202,200.
Where's the
I'll make the
money?
motion.
I'll second it.
What's that?
Let's say, where are you going to take the money for the warranty?
Well, we gotta purchase the warranty yet.
Have to find it somewhere.
Okay, Joey made the motion.
I second.
And Joe second. Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Joey?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes. Motion to pay JCO, second half of the contract, $4,250.
I'll make that motion to pay JCO the second half.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Joey?
Yep.
Bill?
Yes. Okay, motion to approve the aquatic invasive plant removal agreement. It's $5,000 Upper Chattagay Lake. Pages 23, 24, 25. It's a collaboration with the
Agreement between them.
Chattagay Lake Foundation, the town of Dannemora, a contractor is Invasive Solutions Dive Company out of Saranac Lake. Total cost of the thing is on page 24. It's $5,000, comes from the town of Dannemora. Chattagay Lake Foundation agrees to pay $2,480, total sum of $7,480.
I'll make the motion to approve the aquatic invasive plant removal agreement for the sum of $5,000 for the Upper Chattagay Lake project.
I'll second the motion.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim?
Yes.
Steve?
Yeah.
Joe?
Yes.
Joey?
Yep.
Bill?
Yes. Motion to submit a New York State consolidated funding application by our Mr. Donahue. It's on page 27. He needs this for the CF,
Oh, just to show our support, right?
well, no, he's putting in for some stuff.
This is the grant.
Yeah, there's a grant that he's putting in for, but they need a motion, when you put in the grant.
Okay.
It's part of the application process.
Yep.
That the board is aware that we are applying.
So we know about it.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I'll make that motion to support the New York State consolidated funding application that Mr. Donahue is presently working on for us.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, lastly, motion to approve the agreement with Earth Science Engineering, otherwise known as Zebra Tech, also the Shady Lane Dam. We approved the $20,000 in our budget last year. This is a suggested form of agreement between owner and contractor. I mean, we signed an agreement already. I had Matt review this. Matt says, what do you say, Matt, in regards to this, that we should be aware of?
It's just a very, very bare bones contract that doesn't have a lot as far as scope of work, what they're going to do when they start it. It leaves a lot of room for interpretation if something goes wrong, but this is something that's got to get approved now, so we'll get started in July. It is what it is. It's not a contract I like very much, just because there's too much left open for interpretation in there. They say the work is generally described as the extraction or replacement of the center sliding feet assembly at the Shady Lake outfall structure.
Have they been up looked at already?
Yeah, they were here last year.
The other part I don't love is it says, under engineering, the project has been designed by the owner. So, there's nothing in here about specs, about what we provide them. It references contract documents that are not attached. If they get down there and there's a problem, they're gonna come back and say, well, you told us what was down there, you told us what to do, we did that, and it's either still not working, or it got worse, or it got screwed up.
I don't know. Well, yeah, because where is that project is designed by?
Article 3, engineering.
Yeah, the project was designed by the owner, yeah.
We didn't design that.
I know it.
Right.
I think what they mean is you tell us what you want done.
Right.
They didn't go in and look at it ahead of time, they said, well, you're gonna also have to do A, B, and C.
Well, they did go in and look at it though.
Well, then saying the project has been designed by the owner is, it's just bad wording. And it puts any potential liability if there's a problem either while they're down there or the work they do back on the town.
Well, we get clarification before we,
I mean, my understanding of what they told us tonight, Mr. Gentleman, was if the gates are closed, there's no problem. Right now, the gates are closed. This seems like a time of year where the gates don't have to open. If we can push this up to August and make this contract a little bit better, a lot better for the town as far as scope of work. I want the contractor to say, they've looked at the project, they know exactly what they're supposed to do, they've already been on site to do this.
There should be a list of work that they proposed to.
Exactly, they say contract document, but there's nothing attached. You need to say what contract documents is. So you'd be approving your contract based on documents that they reference that nobody's seen.
Even though the issues are at least not give us a list of work that they're gonna do.
Unless this has to get done in the next month, exactly. Unless this has to get done in the next month, I would move forward with this.
the problem is he's lining it up for, I don't know when in July, and he's lining up his divers and everything, motion that, sign the agreement, but subject to, get verification or more,
You can make a motion to conditionally approve this agreement pending my written confirmation on it, based on whatever we can get from them to add.
That's a good
Okay.
suggestion.
Make the motion based on what Matt just said.
okay.
Can you, Bill, put me in touch with the person that provided this to you tomorrow, so Leslie? I think I got it forwarded in an email, so if that person's contact is in there, I can do that. But
I don't know if it was, but I've got it right here.
yeah, if you
I
just
can give you a cell phone number right now.
I'll take your word, I'm sure.
I'll second that.
Okay.
His name's Doug Ferris, 518-572-3036.
All right.
Is there anything?
What do you want to ask tomorrow?
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim,
Yes.
Steve,
Yeah.
Joe,
Yes.
Joey,
Yep.
Bill.
Yes. Okay, any other public comments?
Thank you for your support for the hand harvesting workshop. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay.
Hard to help.
Reverend Tom?
Chaplain Tom Hayes on Grade Road. First of all, thank you for the fittings, you got the water, tastes delicious, great pressure, even when the power went out, still had water. Second thing,
Well, the best thing is you haven't gotten a bill yet.
I haven't gotten the bill yet. I'll expect Bill to have that. But it is good pressure. Second thing, I've worked with General Leroy Mann the last couple of years. There's a street named after him. He's one of the most highly decorated military officers, and many of you know he grew up right here. He didn't come up last year, he's probably coming up this year. They just renamed the Destin Airport after him. I didn't know if that would be anything you know that this town might want to do to honor him.
This guy's still living?
He's still alive, he's in his 90s.
Oh, you know that.
He comes to chapel there in Florida, and I'm the chaplain for the Military Officers Association. But he said he's going to try to come up. He stays, I think, with a brother or relative on General Leroy Manor. Maybe something more to honor his life. And the third quick thing is, I don't know what could be done about the sea-doos. Some of them are still inside the orange cones going very high speeds. I swim out twice a day with the buoy on my side, and we're red and balloons and everything else, and they're going extremely high speed. And I don't know what could be a sign put up, or they should know that since they have.
Call the sheriff's department.
Yep, they,
Sheriff's Department.
You never Joe the Lakes.
You have, they got a number of lines.
Oh, yeah.
They get enough complaints, they'll
DEC, there's two of them.
Yeah, and con.
Oh, yeah.
Either that or,
Take pictures. The registration was-
They give tickets for no life jackets.
Alan, either that or when the green apples come on the tree,
When the green apples on the tree.
Except for,
you throw 'em.
Tom, you can take some pictures? Yeah. Possible, you got a good camera, you can zoom in on the
They go probably 60, 70 miles an hour. They're really large, but sometimes there's two. One time there was 5 of them, and they must have been doing around
Probably the
the
same
wet
outfit.
wagon, going in circles out, right out off of the Lake Road there. But I tried with my binoculars to get some numbers, and Rick gave me a number, and I called it and just left a message. I think it's a little reckless for the kayakers out there. But it's mostly on the weekends, never.
Okay,
But I'll call the sheriff.
anybody else, public comments? Are we going into executive session to discuss personnel issue in the highway department?
Somebody wants to.
are you making,
Don't want to?
I don't care, get it done.
are you making that motion?
I'm making the motion. As long as we're not going to be here for an hour, as I agree.
I'll see you tomorrow.
They discussed all in favor?
Good night, everybody.